Nice to see you again. You've been here before.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I think in the old place.
In the old place.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a while ago.
Actually, my driver took me to the old place.
Did he really?
Yeah, I almost didn't make it here.
So let me start with you, Maggie, because I know that you're a very political person. Your husband is the very wonderful Peter Sarsgaard, a very talented actor himself. And you have 2 young daughters. And the reason I bring up your politics is because I'm wondering how you talk to your daughters about Trump and what's going on in the country and how divisive it is, etc.
I found myself the other day, my 5-year-old asked me what a witch was, and I was like, a witch is a woman who is very powerful and is misunderstood by her community. And then I was like, okay, you know,
That's so funny.
I need to like tone it down a little bit. But you know, then again, you're like, how do you explain to a 5-year-old that the president wants to send immigrant children back to countries they've never been to before?
Yeah.
So I don't know how political you want to get here, but I say to my littlest daughter that he's a bully, and that he's doing a job that he doesn't have a lot of experience at, and that he isn't curious about learning about it.
That's an interesting way to describe it. Well, James, you can sometimes be a little political, but we're living in a crazy time, right? Where people just tweet, certain people tweet anything from the mundane to the crazy.
Yeah.
You took yourself off social media, though, a while back.
I mean, like anything, it can turn into an addiction. Like, it will suck you in like nothing else.
Yeah.
As you can see with, you know, many people, like our president. I just think I don't think it's going to stop. I mean, he kind of won, I think partly due to social media and, you know, and that kind of thing. So I just don't see him stopping.
They'll have to sedate him.
Now, Maggie, the show, The Duece, is about the rise of pornography in 1970s New York, and your character, Candy. I know how in-depth actors are about studying what they're going to be doing, the methodology, the research. How do you study being a prostitute in the 70s as a modern-day woman?
I remember right before we started the pilot, I said to Nina, who's the third in the triumvirate of the George Pelecanos, David Simon, you know, producing group, I said to her, like, I need to talk to a sex worker. I don't know how I'm going to actually do this. I've got questions I don't know the answers to. I don't know where to get them.
Yeah.
So she hooked me up with Annie Sprinkle, who's amazing, who was a prostitute, was a sex worker in the 70s. And I asked Annie all the things I wanted to know. She hooked me up with all her friends, and these were women who were in porn, and actually mostly porn, in the 70s. So they're women in their 60s who have a kind of an objectivity and a wisdom on what was going on that I don't know if the younger women have. I mean, they were amazing. I mean, there were maybe 10 women that she hooked me up with.
Wow. You are a producer on the show, Maggie. James, you direct a couple of episodes also on the show. How do you keep this vehicle from glorifying porn and glorifying the sex trade?
If you watch the show, you're not going to be like, wow,
there's a lot of character development.
That's hot. There's a lot of sex, but it's used, and the reason I pushed for more was it's used to show what it was actually like. And that if you actually cut it out, you are...
Then you're normalizing it.
Yeah, you're giving a false impression of what it's turning into Pretty Woman. It's turning into a fantasy.
Okay.
You know, it's as if you're doing a show about violence and stylizing it and not really showing the effects of violence.
Yeah, I think it's good if the show actually does turn you on a little.
I can't say that, but she can say that.
because sex does turn us on, and porn does turn a lot of people on. If you can relate on that level and then look at the full real life of the people that you've just watched turning you on, see the cost for those people, then all of a sudden you're engaged and you're asked to consider, wait, am I complicit in some way in exploiting people? Is it all right if it turns me on? Seems like it turns everybody on.
That's interesting.
Do I have some responsibility to take care of and protect the, you know, the people that I see doing these things in the show? I mean, one thing that the sex workers who are talking with me online were saying is like, December 17th, there's a big march in New York to protect against violence against sex workers. I mean, so in our show, if we don't show violence against sex workers, if we don't show that really, Annie Sprinkle told me in 1971, a street prostitute would be sleeping with 10 men a night. If we don't give some indication of that, then we're not really telling the truth about what was going on
It's
at that
scary
time.
business. It's a scary business. You ladies, especially the women, have to show a lot, do
Well, you
sex
showed
scenes.
quite a lot.
Well, the guys.
I showed a lot. I mean, it's a.
Equal opportunity.
Now people are tuning in for HBO.
So I want to check it out.
Let's hear it. Let's
But-
hear that. Yeah.
It's an interesting subject because there is a lot of gray area where a lot of
Especially on
nudity
me.
in film and what's that?
Nothing.
You know, it is gratuitous. It is not necessary.
Yeah, but not in this show. This
But
show
on
is
this
fun,
show,
yeah. Right.
like we were saying, if you do not give an impression of what it's actually like, you're doing the subject matter a disservice.
Yeah.
You also honed real quickly, some people work with dialect coaches. You had a really strong New York accent. And I heard this used to be maybe a smooth move for you with the ladies.
No.
A self-trained
Everyone
actor.
loves a New York accent.
I did not. I did not put on the accent to meet women. I was a young actor. I was working at McDonald's because I could not get a regular restaurant job, and so I just thought, you know, I'll use my time, you know, productively, and I'll practice accents at the drive-thru. They were all bad. They were all.
Would you like to synthesize that?
I didn't do too badly. Yeah, you were like a supersize it, eh?
Yeah.
And I got asked out a lot, but I couldn't go out on any of the dates. Like if I was Italian, you know, this girl was like, "Hey, maybe you could give me some Italian lessons." I'd be like, "Yeah, of course," but like I could never call her because I couldn't give her the lessons. But the New York, I could do it. So I took them out on a couple dates as a New Yorker.
I don't know.
It paid off.
Still think it was a move. I'm just saying. But
I think that people will really be into this,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So thanks so much for coming by. Thanks to James Franco and Maggie Gyllenhaal. It's called The Duece, and it airs Sunday nights on HBO. We'll be right back.